Hey Internet, Eric here again for another video. Quickly get this out of the way. Thank you for liking, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. Alright, done. I was going through my past videos and answering comments, and I noticed my buddy Roger, who I've mentioned before, suggested that why don't I do a video, he knows I love the horror genre, why don't I do a video about a movie that truly, truly scared me? I thought to myself, I've been watching horror movies since I was a kid. I fucking remember watching The Exorcist in elementary school. Yeah, elementary school was around like 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. And there are really no movies that truly scared me. However, I can, finagle my way around his idea, and I'll talk about, there are 2 movies off the top of my head that may not scare me, but after all these years, as a child I've seen them, and all the way up to, as of I'm filming this right now, I'm 33, that truly, truly, truly creep me out. And it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I still get that feeling. I mean, I just got done watching the first movie I'm going to talk about. I'm going to make 2 separate videos. The first movie I'm going to talk about, I just got done watching, and now, of course, I'm down in my basement by myself filming this fucking video. And, yeah. First movie is the lesser of the 2. But that doesn't mean it's any worse of a movie. There's just a different feel to it when it comes to just creeping me out. Just to give you a heads up, I do tend to ramble in my videos, so there's a good chance for potential spoilers. But first movie I'm going to talk about came out in '82, and it was directed by Tobe Hooper. And if you know anything about the horror genre, Tobe Hooper is the man that gave us the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also directed the sequel, and he directed, among other things, he directed the original TV movie of Salem's Lot, not the most recent one with Rob Lowe. And of course, like I said, if you know anything, it is Poltergeist. Basically, I think this movie is probably just going to be a movie review. My thoughts and opinions on the movie, while I also talk about why it just, still to this day, it creeps me the hell out. Movie stars Craig T. Nelson, of Coach fame, and JoBeth Williams as Diane and Stephen Freeling, excuse me. And they are the parents of 3 children. Teenage Dana, played by Dominique Dunne. Young Robbie, can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. That's not in the credits in the DVD box in front of me. And then I believe young Carol Ann. I believe she's 5 in this movie, and she's played by Heather O'Rourke. And they are the perfect, the picture perfect version of a suburban family in the 1980s. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 81. This is these could be my fucking neighbors. I could, my parents would be having beers with them or cookouts with them, and yeah, I'm serious. They're the perfect cast. They got the perfect look and feel of a wonderful suburban family. When the kids are arguing with each other, you feel like the young kids are arguing. JoBeth Williams and Craig T. Nelson have such a fucking fantastic chemistry with each other that you would think that they're fucking married. The way they flirt, the way they talk to each other, the way they act around each other. Yeah, whoever was the fucking casting director, props to you. Now, the basic plot of this movie, if you're one of the 2 people in the fucking world that has never even heard of this movie, is the Freeling family, like I said, suburban family. I believe it's somewhere in California. And what happens is, one night, Stephen is asleep at, downstairs, and the TV is on, and it's, the static, because, the station has gone off the air. And little Carol Ann goes down, and she appears to be talking to the television. The next day, we get to learn characters again. And what happens is Carol Ann falls asleep with Mom and Dad. And again, the static happens on the TV. And then after she's done talking to the television, you see this smoky hand come out of the TV like it's going to touch her. And then it shoots across the room. And of course, then that's when Carol Ann says the immortal line, "They're here." And no, I'm not going to try to do it in her fucking voice. So don't even, anticipate me doing that. And then after that night, things go on like it's nothing. Until a few days later, we finally see these paranormal things happening. Just little things like silverware bending, chairs that are supposed to be under the kitchen table are moving on their own, shit like that. And the first major, and both parents know this, they witnessed this. Diane is obviously excited, and Stephen is very uncomfortable. And what is being done is they're foreshadowing a storm coming in, because you see the clouds and everything. And there's this gigantic fucking oak tree that's in the Freelings yard. And I don't know if it's a fucking oak tree. It's just a big, nasty old tree. And Robbie climbs it all the time, but he's also very terrified of it, like during the storm. And, because it's right out his fucking bedroom window. And during the storm, what his mom tells him is, when you see lightning, start counting. And then stop counting when you hear the thunder, and that'll tell you how many miles away the storm is. So he starts counting and counting, and of course the numbers get lower and lower and lower. And then just out of nowhere, BAM! The tree branch goes right through the window, grabs Robbie, and pulls him out. And this is great because it basically sets up the plot of the movie, the major, major plot. And because as the family is trying to rescue Robbie, young Carol Ann is stuck in her room. And the closet door opens, and everything starts getting sucked in, including her. So after they save Robbie, they basically realize, oh shit, Carol Ann's still inside. We need to go find her. She's nowhere to be found. They tear up the entire fucking house, and then suddenly young Robbie hears her talking out of the television set. So that's the plot of the movie. They need to rescue Carol Ann, find out where she is, and bring her back. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. Eventually, the family goes to some paranormal investigators or psychologists, something like in that field. And these actors are also fantastic. Great chemistry with them. There's three of them between each other, between them and the Freeling family. God, I can't fucking praise the casting in this movie anymore. They go over to the house. They see all the paranormal activities that are happening. So they know right away that this is no joke. And they realize there's not much they can do to find out where Carol Ann is, to rescue her. All they can really do is document. So what they do is they go to a spiritual medium, played by Zelda Rubinstein. And this is, the role she's known for until her death a few years ago. And she explains that Carol Ann is basically in a spiritual dimension. Okay? She's being held there against her will by what I believe she calls the Beast. And side note, if you've ever heard the Misfits song, The Shining, it's based on this right here, because there's a chorus about Carol Ann and the Beast. Anyways, the only way to get Carol Ann back is to rescue her through a portal, physically pull her out, and that's through her closet door where she was originally sucked in. So, long story short, they rescue Carol Ann, and they're going to spend the final night at the house because, Zelda Rubinstein, her name's, I believe, Tangina. She says the immortal line, "This house is clean." So, they spend the final night at the house, and what's great is just when you think everything's fine, it's not. The spirits are still there. And you find out that basically, you find out earlier, that the housing development that this family is living on was originally a cemetery. So that's basically why, the spirits are pissed off and taking it out on this family, because I believe they're the first. They were the initial family that moved in of this complex. And like I said, long story short. See, now I hear fucking crickets, like I said, and I just watched this fucking movie. I'm down here by myself. God. Long story short, family escapes. The end. All right. Let's get to what creeps me the fuck out about this movie. Not just the tree scene, which I talked about, but what is good about that tree scene, and what's still terrifying, is the way it's shot. It's nighttime, and there's a thunderstorm and lightning storm going on. So obviously the lights are out, and you got the flashing going on, and then you got young Robbie slowly counting down, and he counts to 5, and suddenly he counts to 4, and counts to 3, and the tension is really built up so fucking high that when that arm finally shoots into the window to grab him, you're already on the edge of your fucking seat. Tobe Hooper or Steven Spielberg, whoever did this, because there's a rumor that Steven Spielberg basically took over the directing duties from Tobe Hooper. But anyways, the tension and the build-up is just fantastic, and it's perfect. I gotta guarantee that James Wan, the horror director who's behind the Saw movies and Insidious and The Conjuring and even fucking Dead Silence, James relies on sound and music and tension building for his scares, not necessarily so much gore when he's away from the Saw movies. This has got to be one of his inspirations for his films. There's another scene, which I don't want to spoil too much. I won't say how it happens. I'm just going to call it the face peeling scene, and involves one of the paranormal psychologists or investigators, what have you. Said person is, wakes up at night, goes into the kitchen for a bite to eat. Some minor creepy stuff happens, and again, like I said, this is the fucking build-up. This is the build-up. And then, like I said, I'll just say the face peeling scene happens, and the payoff is so fantastic. It's so unnerving. It's so uncomfortable. Oh, God. And the thing is, when this movie first came out in 1982, there was no PG-13 rating. So this was originally given an R rating. Most likely, not just due to the themes, but to this scene in general. Oh, it still creeps me out just thinking of it. But Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg fought, and they were able to get, of all things, a fucking PG rating for this movie. And then a couple years later, Gremlins came out, and then Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out, and that's what created the PG-13 rating. Another fucking thing that gets me is after they rescue Carol Ann, and it's the... See, last night, like I said, when they're in the house and the spirits come back, they attack. I'm just going to call it the fucking clown scene. And every person in the world knows exactly what I'm talking about. As the spirits are attacking young Robbie and Carol Ann again, Mom is also being attacked. And in their own little way, which I won't spoil, she's being kept on the outside of the room, okay, while everything is happening to the kids inside. And what I mean by the fucking clown scene is that Robbie has this creepy ass looking fucking clown doll. God. Seriously, just if I can't find a way to edit the picture of this clown into it, just Google fucking Poltergeist clown doll. And what it is basically the clown attacks Robbie and pulls him under his bed as the spirits come back and try to get Carol Ann again. And I am not scared of clowns in one bit, but goddamn, this is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen as a child, and it still creeps me out to this day. Oh man, and like I said, there's no gore in this. It's all tension. It's all imagery. that does this. And it's fucking creepy as shit. And another thing that's really, really, really good at creeping viewers out of this movie is the score. And the score was done by Jerry Goldsmith. And what is great about Jerry Goldsmith's score in this movie is the opening scene where you see this shot of the suburbs. And it opens up with this score that sounds like a child's lullaby, you know? And it's this wonderful, sweet, sweet score. And eventually, you know, he has his intense moments with scores and stuff like that, you know, when everything's happening. And then the movie ends with the same lullaby. And then he throws in children laughing. And if that just doesn't creep you the fuck out, I don't know what does. Because there's just something, after what you just fucking watched, and all the intense moments that you watched, the imagery, and everything, and then you hear this sweet, sweet lullaby, and suddenly it ends with children laughing. Creepiest fucking thing I've ever heard. And if it doesn't creep you out, I'll flat out call you a fucking liar right now. God, so good. Yeah, that's like I said, that's as good as I could discuss Poltergeist without being too spoiler heavy. Seriously, if you haven't seen this, you know, haven't seen Poltergeist, you better. The sad thing is about Poltergeist, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, is the sad thing about Poltergeist is there's this ongoing thing called the curse of Poltergeist. And the reason why it's called a curse, it's more notorious for things that have happened to people from the movie than the actual movie itself, which is kind of disappointing. It's like The Crow with, you know, sadly, The Crow is my all-time favorite movie, and sadly it's more known for, instead of being a fantastic movie, it's known for Brandon Lee's death. And that's what the problem is with Poltergeist. Like I said, a lot of people claim that there's a curse on Poltergeist, whatever the fuck you want to believe, because Poltergeist was released, and within 4 months, Dominique Dunne, who plays the oldest sister, Dana, she was strangled to death, sadly, tragically, by her psychotic boyfriend. I don't know what the fuck like I said, you're just gonna have to Google all this shit, but this is just from what I know. Sadly, Dominique Dunne was strangled to death by her boyfriend 4 months after this movie was released. There was 2 sequels of these movies. Second one, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side. Not quite as good of a movie as Poltergeist. I personally think the sequels were just cash grabs, because you can tell the actors didn't want to be there. Mainly, I think, because of what happened to Dominique. And the tension is really good. The scares, more so jump scares. But talking about the curse of Poltergeist, there are 2 characters, opposing forces. There is a shaman, an Indian shaman, played by Will Sampson. And Will Sampson is mostly known as the Indian chief from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And, you know, he's there to cleanse the house, just like, Zelda Rubinstein did in the first one, and she does return in all the other sequels too. And the evil force is in the form of Reverend Kane, played by Julian Beck. And of course, speaking of the curse, Julian Beck was slowly dying of stomach cancer while the second one was being filmed. Once it was released, Julian had died, soon after. Will Sampson died soon after that due to complications of lung surgery or heart transplant surgery or some shit like that. And I'm not trying to make light of it by saying some shit like that, but that's what happened. And then sadly, Poltergeist 3 came out, I believe in 1988. And that was just, sad to say, a clusterfuck of a movie, in my opinion. I haven't seen it in years, so it might be different. But sadly, Heather O'Rourke, the actress who played Carol Ann, passed away after filming her scenes. The movie was not complete when she passed away. She was, like I said, you're going to have to Google it or Wikipedia it, but she was misdiagnosed with the flu, and it ended up being some type of bowel obstruction or something like that, and she died, and gosh, she died in 88. She had to have been 10 or 11. So tragic. And that's what I think is sad about, in a movie perspective, about Poltergeist. It is sadly now known more for the tragedy that evolves around it. And what I've read, and like I said, take what you want from what you read on the internet. There's a scene in the original movie where JoBeth Williams, the family is building a pool, okay, an outdoor pool. And there's a scene where JoBeth Williams is being, harassed by the spirits, and she's in the pool, and it's filling up with water during this rainstorm, and a bunch of fucking skeletons come out. Okay? Great scene. And apparently, those skeletons were real because it was cheaper to buy real skeletons than to buy fake ones, because I guess, fake ones were more expensive because you had to have them made. And supposedly that's where the curse happened, because, real skeletons were made. What the fuck ever. But that's supposedly where that started. Like I said, it's just sad that this great movie is now known for, the tragedy behind it than the fact of how fantastic this movie is. And whether or not what you believe that Steven Spielberg basically pushed Tobe Hooper to the side and basically took charge for this movie, I don't really know, and I don't really care, because in the end, a fantastic movie came out, a truly chilling movie came out, and it's timeless. I mean, not really timeless because it's in the 80s and you could tell by the way people dress, but it's timeless in the way that this family can have, this can take place anytime, just the way these people interact with each other. And of course, it does suffer from remake-itis. It was recently remade this past year, or maybe the year before. I'm not sure. Within the past 6 months of me doing this video, with Sam Rockwell as the father. Not so bad, not so great. I've come to accept the fact that movies will be remade, and this was not one of the best remakes, but it doesn't hold a candle to the original. So, in closing, definitely, like I said, if you're one of the 3 people that have not seen this fucking movie, go see it right now. Watch it in the dark, and then go in your basement and do some laundry. I dare you. I fucking dare you. I'd like to say, once again, like and subscribe. That usual shit. I do appreciate the fact that I've gotten more subscribers since my last video. I do appreciate the interaction with comments and stuff. I'll do some quick plugs. Like and subscribe to my channel if you like it. I also have a channel that I do with my buddy called Whitey the White Guy, where we, basically ramble on about movies and shit like that. And I think it's fun. And I would like to put a plug out to my buddy Roger, who suggested this idea. Roger has his own YouTube channel. I believe the pronunciation is Channel Donstar. Fantastic guy. Cooler and shit. Go to my previous videos, and he's commented on all of my other videos, I believe, at least once or twice. Literally, Channel Donstar. Click on him, take you to his videos, and trust me, he's entertaining as hell. The man knows the movie genre. He knows foreign films. He knows horror films, action films, comedy. Great stuff. One of his things that he has ongoing is it's him sitting at his table discussing his Blu-ray collection. And what I love about Roger is sometimes he goes off on tangents and talks about stuff that he's done growing up, or this or that, or like he was talking about the C's when he brought up Child's Play collection. He talked about how he worked in Chicago across from the store where Child's Play was taking place. You know, the opening sequence. So cool. Yeah, just go to Roger's page. Tell him Eric sent you. He'll appreciate it. If not, nah, he will, because I'm just giving you shit, Roger. Thanks for watching my video. Hopefully you were interested. Like I said, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Cheers, and go watch this movie right now. Right now. Bye.